Good morning, students. I once again welcome you in this virtual platform. And as you know, we are seeing the second lessons of our syllabus, that is the three questions. We have seen the most of part of these lessons, that how the king tried to get the answer to his three questions and how he got the answer. How he announced that whoever give him the right answer, he will give him the right prize. But there was nobody who gave him the right answer. That's why he decided to meet a hermit who was living in a jungle. So here he comes to meet the hermit, and here he comes as a common man. He put on the simple clothes. He came down from his, came down his horse and came on his foot. Here, he also helped that hermit to work for him. Now, what happened next? Let's see in this lecture. We saw that the king worked for him, and after working for a little bit time, he asked again his questions. And what were his three questions? The first was he raised that how can he learn the right thing and the right times, and the second, who are the most needed persons for him so that he can give attention to him, and the third one, what is the most essential task, most essential affair for him so that he should give the attentions. But the hermit said nothing. Now see what happened. But when the king asked the hermit the same questions for the next time, the hermit said nothing, he answered nothing. And instead, what he said, if you have tired, let me work. But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. 1 hour passed and another. The sun began to sink behind the tree, and the king at last struck the spade into the ground and said, I come to you, wise man, for an answer my questions. If you can give me none, tell me, so I will return home. So, in this time, the king said that here I have, here I am, only to seek your assent, only to listen your words. But I think you are not interested in me. I think you are not interested in the questions I raise in front of you, in front of you. So that's why the king said, uh, I come to you, wise man, for an answer to my questions. If you can't give me none, tell me so, and I will return home. If you are not interested in my questions, tell me. Say directly that I am not interested in your questions, then I will go to my home. But why you are making such, passing some times? The king worked there for 1 hour, another hours, and he goes on working. Here comes some one running. Instead of answering to his questions of what the hermit said, he gave attentions to the most needed things, and he saw that someone is coming to his hut, to his cottage, and he or she need his help. So what he say? Here comes someone running, said the hermit. Let us see who it is. The king turned around and saw a bearded man coming running out of the wood. Yes, there was certainly one man who was coming there. And when the hermit said that someone is coming, the king turned his head and what he saw? He saw that a bearded man was coming towards that hut. The man held his hands pressed against his stomach, and the blood was flowing from under them. The king also saw that the man who came into that hut was holding his hand against his stomach. There might be some injury in his stomach. That's why the blood was flowing from that stomach, and it was clearly visible to the king. When he reached the king, he fell fainting on the ground, moaning feebly. And when that beardsman reached the king, he fell down because the blood was flowing from his stomach. The king and the hermit unfastened the man's clothing. What the king and that hermit did first? They unfastened his clothing. They removed his cloth first of all, that was stained with blood. There was a large wound in his stomach. And what they saw? Large wound. Wound means आपल्या मराठीमध्ये जखम ज्याला म्हणतो. There was large wound in his stomach. The king washed it as best as he could and bandaged it with his handkerchief and with a towel the hermit had. So, what at that time the king did? The king washed that wounds and bandaged it with his handkerchief and the towel that hermit had. He, they tried to save him. They tried to stop the flowing blood, but the blood would not stop flowing, and the king again and again removed the bandage soaked with the warm blood and washed and rebandaged the wound. But the wounds was so high, so deep that blood was not stopping. Even then, the king didn't accept defeat. He tried to wash that wounds again and again, and he again and again bandaged that wound so that the blood should stop. Here we have to stop, and remaining parts we will see in the next video. Thank you.